Hi guys, today I'll be playing The Life We've Chosen, which is about Willow, who has to choose on how to deal with their demons, both inner and external. The game contains mature themes about mental illness, depression, and healthy relationships. I wasn't going to come here today. I'm going to have to work all day tomorrow to make up for my distracted mind. I was going to work inside until nightfall. I decided to only do a few hours in the afternoon. It should have been easy enough, but in the end I couldn't even handle that much. It's just one of those days. It's always one of those days. Just as my thoughts begin to wander, the demon appears. They always seem to manifest themselves out of thin air when I'm not looking. I never learn. Their large form is hunched over and wrapped up in a tattered cloak, just like on the day I first became aware of their presence. Though the seasons have changed, the demon has not moved from this spot. They never initiate conversation with me. Instead, it's as if they offer me the choice to leave and pretend we never saw each other at all. I do not leave. Hello again. The only response I get is a sleepy rumble in the back of their throat. Sometimes I wonder if my visits annoy them. It doesn't seem like the demon ever has anything else to do, but that doesn't mean I'm not an inconvenience. I remind myself once again that if I was a bother, the demon could simply remain hidden from me. It's not like I can force them to show themselves. These meetings are their choice too. It's been a few years since our first meeting, hasn't it? The lake's been obscured by the heavy fog once again. I kinda miss this haze. There's something comforting about it. The demon doesn't respond. It often takes some time to get them talking, as if they need a moment to wake up, or perhaps they're simply taking their time deciding whether the conversation is worth having in the first place. Are you cold? After a calculated pause, the demon draws a raspy breath. Their deep voice reverberates somewhere in their chest with untapped potential. But still, the sound that comes out of their beak-like mouth is barely louder than a sigh. The weather does not harm me, human. You'd be wise to redirect your concerns. I have an extra blanket I could bring you. No. I knew there was no point in making the offer, but the demon's predictable answer amuses me regardless. The calm I feel after arriving here didn't last long. The plans I made for tonight invade my mind out of nowhere. I can't stay long today. My friend is coming to pick me up soon. The woman you've spoken of before, I presume? Do you remember? Her name's Ella. I don't know if I told you before. I have no interest in your names. Right, I probably wouldn't either. It would be tactless for a human to say such a thing, but the demon's bluntness is refreshing in a way. You won't have to memorize many names for my sake. I have very few friends. It's really just Ella, and perhaps the demon themselves. It feels presumptuous to think of the demon as my friend, but what I don't say out loud, they won't know. I'm fairly certain they can't read minds. Demon shifts ever so slightly, adjusting her cloak. I can't help but thinking that they must be cold. Your visits to this place have become more frequent lately. Have they? A year ago, during the darkest days of fall, I also spent a lot of time down here. I had just moved into the small and cheap house up the slope, alone for the first time in my life. The house was suffocating. I had very few things going on in my life, and yet everything felt like too much to handle. I didn't know what to do with myself, without anyone at home to pour in happiness for. The lakeside felt like the only place I could breathe. It's happening again, isn't it? An idle glance at the demon reveals to me that they're waiting for me to elaborate. I guess I like it better here? Better than your dwelling, you say? Yeah. Perhaps you should look into finding a more comfortable home. I can never tell whether they're joking. It's not the building that's the problem. The problem is all the things I need to do here. All the things I need to think about. It's too much sometimes. I see your kind is still obsessed with arbitrary responsibilities. You're not wrong. When I'm here, I feel like I can just exist in peace, I suppose. It's nice. A fallen leaf lands silently in the moss growing from the demon's body. I never once seen them move. Since our first meeting a year ago, they never failed to show up when I'd come looking for them. Are they really here all the time? My curiosity is great, but the topic is a little too close to home for me to address directly. Do you like it here? The demon draws a raspy breath before responding with an audible exhaustion in their voice. Doesn't matter whether I like it here or not. I am here, and that is what I've chosen. There's a sense of finality in their words that stunned me for a moment. There are many questions I'd like to ask, but in that moment I realize I'm late. I'm sorry, I have to go now. I can't make Ella wait. Do not apologize, human. That's a pretty demon. I know that's weird, but I like the way the demon is drawn. I catch Ella just as she's getting out of her car in my driveway. If I had just left a moment earlier, I would have had time to go back inside and pretend I've been there all day. But now it's too late. Hey, aren't you cold like that? Where's your jacket? I'm fine. Where's yours? Don't need one in the car, Dumbo. What are you doing in the woods? I was just about to ring your doorbell when I saw you. I made a panicked sound while I was trying to think of what to say. I forgot to come up with an excuse. I ran into someone. Who? A neighbor? Kind of. Kind of. Who was it? I hesitate. I hate lying, but I still need more time. When I tell her about the demon, I'll have to do it right away. I feel terrible for lying to her once again, but I just don't have the courage today. It was just someone from the area. I don't know where they live. Ella makes a face that tells me a lecture is coming. Don't you remember what Miss Bailey taught us in first grade? Don't talk to strangers, especially not in scary places after dark. We're not children. No, but you live alone. Who can I help you if something happens to you? She knows I still don't have an answer to her question, although she's asked it many times. I shrug in defeat. Well, I'm sure I've got a spare room at my place if you ever need it. How could I forget when she reminds me about it every few months? Thanks, but I'm fine. I just worry about you, you know that. Ella bites her lip to appear endearing, although I know it's a trick. I have to admit it kind of works. After making sure I saw her display, Ella puts on a peppy face, seemingly satisfied with having guilt-tripped me out of arguing back. Anyway, let's go, shall we? Can't have you running out of canned soup again. We get in the car. Sorry about making you do this right after work again. No, I'm kind of glad. It's good for me to see friends now that things are over with Elijah. They are? Ella doesn't even try to hide the bitter disdain in her voice. Didn't I tell you? Doesn't want to make the move into a crappy little town like this. His words, not mine. I hadn't realized it was that serious. I feel slow for not having made the connection on my own. A better friend would have seen the signs. Anyway, it's for the best. If we had gotten married, it would have been Ella and Elijah forever. Can you imagine? Ella and Elijah? It sounds wrong, doesn't it? I guess. You, on the other hand, have a super rad last name. Maybe we should get hitched. We were still in middle school. I would have blushed at a joke like that. I would have kept thinking about it for weeks, trying to decipher whether there might have been some genuine interest hidden in it. Now, however, we're older. But then you will have to deal with me every day. You don't want that. Hey, don't pretend you know everything about me. Ooh. It became dark outside while we did our shopping. I should be good for another 2 weeks. I've been loading my groceries into the trunk. I catch Ella watching me from the corner of my eye. What? Did you know Sally owns a hair salon now? Her boss left and went back to school for a second degree. So it was my neglected hair that caught her attention. Figures. Oh, good for her. I was thinking we'd go see her sometime. You ever seen her in a while, have you? It'd just be fun to show up randomly at her workplace someday. Maybe. I don't know. Wouldn't that be kind of rude? What? No, she'd be happy, I'm sure. I doubt she gets many customers on her own anyway. Her boss was a good one, you know? Don't tell her I said that. Ella looks thoughtful as she locks the car trunk. Do you think Sally doesn't like you or something? No, nothing like that. I just thought it'd be bad manners for us to show up without warning. You think too much sometimes, you know that? It's really not a big deal. Desperate for a change of topic, I glance at the locked trunk, pretending to have remembered something. Oh, well, I was going to get garbage bags. We can go back? No, I'll get them some other time. I have one or two left. I don't know if I can drive you next week. Will you really be fine? I have a bike. A bike you hate using? I don't hate it, I just don't have a reason to use it lately, thanks to you. I tried to give Ella an appreciative smile, which probably comes across as forced, but she accepts it gracefully anyway. You're welcome. The moment I get home, thoughts about tomorrow invade my mind. I have nothing to distract myself from the dread of having a full work day ahead of me. Normally on an evening like this, I would escape to the lake, but even I would feel embarrassed doing so twice in one day. Perhaps I still have some dignity left? I ended up going to bed too early. I practically ran out the door when the email arrived. Something about my performance, low words per hour rating. I'll never be good enough, will I? I really tried my best this week. After that one day when I couldn't handle anything, this was supposed to be an easy side job anyone could do. When I arrived at the lake, I almost want to cry, but I managed to calm myself down with a deep breath. One thing at a time. Today, everything is still alright, I tell myself. Today, I'm not falling apart. I won't even think about it today. I address the demon beside me. There is something else in my mind, an idea that began forming a few days now, an idea that could take a lot of pressure off me. Can I bring Ella to meet you? Only after I've asked the question do I realize I'm not even sure if I even greeted the demon properly today. My obsession with the idea may have overridden my manners. Luckily, the demon is concerned about manners anyway. He responds in a sleepy, uninterested tone. It is your life and your choice, human. You do not need my permission. I would still like to have it, as this is your home. There's a long pause, longer than usual. When the demon finally speaks, it's with reluctance. I do not presume to know your friend will react to meeting one of my kind. However, in my experience, these events rarely end well. The path could lead you to much suffering. Perhaps it will, but that's not what I asked for. Do I have your permission or not? The demon sighed submissively. You do. Alright then, I'll be bringing her sometime. Thank you for looking out for me. Judging by their surprised reaction, the demon isn't used to being thanked. I should try saying nice things more often. In order for Ella to react well, I need a plan of some sort. How do I introduce a demon to someone who never met one and probably doesn't believe they exist? You haven't told me your name. I have no name? There's a subtle tightness in the demon's voice, just noticeable enough to tell me I shouldn't push the issue. I don't think they can tell their names, can they? I'm just thinking about how I'm going to introduce you to Ella. A name isn't necessary, but some kind of descriptor would have good to have, I think. You will have to figure it out. You're useless. The lack of reaction immediately makes me regret what I just said. I'm sorry, that was a joke. Humor is not new to me. It has changed very little since its conception. It was still a bad joke. They don't seem offended. I make a mental note to wash my mouth regardless. This isn't Ella I'm talking to. When did I start making the same jokes as her anyway? I never even liked that kind of humor. She likes to make friendly jabs, but a jab is still a jab. She wasn't like that when we were young. I closed my eyes for a bit. Now that I told the demon about my plan, I feel both relieved and anxious. I was hoping relief would be the frontmost feeling, but it isn't. The cool breeze from the lake causes a shiver to run down my entire body. Return to your dwelling. Lights like this are not meant for humans. I don't want to. This is all going to change. Next time we meet, this will all be different. I'm a little scared. What of? I don't know what Ella is going to think of this. Of you. Already you are having second thoughts? No, I'm not. I've made my decision. I'm not going to keep hiding you from her as if you're something shameful. It's a matter of honesty, then. Yes, but it's not just that. I lose my nerve before I can articulate the difficult thought in my head. I can feel the demon's watchful eyes on me, worried to get the patience to always wait for me to sort out any of my thoughts. It's hard to imagine Ella or anyone else being that interested in what I have to say. Perhaps that's exactly it. I've been thinking, and for a long time it's been like Ella and I don't really see each other. We talk often, but I feel like she doesn't really hear me. I don't think she really knows me at all. I want her to understand me better. I want her to know what's really going on. What is going on? The question hits me hard. It shouldn't have. It was just a question, but I forgot to breathe for a moment. What is going on with me? I need her? I need to confess something to you. I say that although I'm not sure how to word my confession. Demons sit still as ever, but there is something off about them. Looking in their eyes, I can see emotion. I can't quite name it, but I can't help thinking it looks a lot like sorrow. Why? I'm sorry, should I not? Demon breathes in, seemingly deeper than usual. It is not that I do not wish to hear what you have to say, it is the timing that is precarious. There are enough variables in the air as it is. I fear having this conversation now would only complicate things. Seems they understood my meaning, although I'm not entirely sure what I was going to say myself. I understand. Another time, then. Another time. We fall back into a shared silence, although we both know there is something in it that we are both ignoring. It feels odd, but I trust the demon's judgment better than I trust my own. Although the night is still young, a wave of drowsiness sweeps over me. I can almost fall asleep standing up. The demon's silent presence is an immense source of comfort. It would be so easy to lie down and sleep right there, knowing they'd be watching over me. It's a selfish desire, and although I'm not bold enough to act on it, the thought brings me solace. A gentle nudge at my left shoulder. It wasn't warm or cold. It was as if nothing was there at all, but I know I felt it. I look up, a little embarrassed, and the demon returns my gaze with the same hard-to-breathe eyes as always. They're soft. Their voice, however, is soft. Return to your dwelling, please. Although I prefer to cling to this moment a little longer, I can't deny the appeal of their recommendation. As I gather up willpower to get moving, I realize my joints ache from the cold. The demon's common sense proves to be better than mine, once again. I don't know what to say after all. See you soon? I slept and dreamed of ominous but strangely comforting scenarios that night, all about failure. Reality couldn't possibly be worse. Once morning came, I was not afraid. Having made the decision earlier, the action came easier than I thought it would. When Ella arrived in my driveway, I simply asked her if she'd like to meet the neighbor I mentioned before. I tried to make the invitation as quick as casual as I could so that I wouldn't have time to talk myself out of it. Ella was clearly reluctant, but she agreed. I was hoping I would suddenly gain enough courage to try and explain the situation to Ella, but it didn't happen. I still find myself avoiding her questions, I'm afraid. The only way I can be honest with her is by taking her to see the demon with her own eyes. Oh no. This place is really creepy. Alice lays close to me on the path to the lake. This is getting really creepy. Why can't we just meet them at your house? We're almost there. During their short walk, I must have told Ella not to worry a dozen of times already. We begin to descend down to the lake. The demon is there, waiting for us as they promised. They must have sensed our approach. I turn to Ella. Whoa, what is that? Some kind of... Then it hits her that what she's not seeing is not a statue, but a living being. Her face contorts with shock, but then horror. I've got to calm her down. I speak up using the most soothing tone I can muster. Come on, let's go talk. She doesn't respond or move. It's as if she's frozen in place. My words don't seem to reach her at all. Without warning, she grabs my head, and suddenly I'm being dragged back up the hill. Ella, wait! There's nothing to... I trip on something and nearly fall over, only kept up by Ella's stubborn grip on my hand. Hurry! Stop, Ella! Let me go! She doesn't stop until we arrive at her car, panting and frazzled. My shoulder is in pain from being yanked around so violently. I'm so angry and humiliated that I can feel the sting of tears behind my eyes. Why can't you just stop for 2 seconds? Ella ignores me. For a minute, we just lean against the car and catch our breath. Eventually, she speaks up with a stern tone. You can't stay in this house. Come move with me. This again? Now? You're joking, right? I'm serious. Let's get you out of that house. Please, you have to get out. She's overreacting. It is even worse than I thought was possible. I don't want to lose you. I'm not going anywhere. Never seen her so desperate before. Her voice is strained with concern for me. You don't know that. It's a demon. You don't know what you can do. The demon would never hurt me. How can she even suggest they would? I trust them. They've been more honest than either of us, actually. It's a demon. What do you think demons do? They trick and seduce people and all that. So it's when have you cared about stories like that? You decided to start caring just now? She breathes heavily. I realize I'm doing the same. How did it come to this? We never fought before, not like this. With every breath, I regret this night more and more. I've ruined everything. It's manipulating you. I don't think so. That's really nice, but how can you know? How do you know it's not going to hurt you? I guess I don't. I can't bring myself to acknowledge it out loud. For all the deep conversations we have, I barely know anything about the demon. Suddenly there are tears in Ella's eyes. Despite everything, it pains me to see her upset. I almost can't stand looking at her. I don't want to lose you. I want to reassure her somehow, but I already know nothing I say will help. She's not going to understand what the demon means to me. I try to blink back the tears, but it's useless. This is all useless. Ella, she's very close. My heart begins pounding again, but the catalyst is not fury this time. We've never been this close before. Ella's hands reached out for my shoulders. When was the last time she touched me? On the school playground when we were 10? This is different. This can't be. No, she wouldn't. Would she? There's no way. She's not interested in me. She's never returned my feelings. My feelings? I don't even know what I feel anymore. It's all messed up. I'm so tired of trying to make sense of all this. Maybe if I just let Ella guide me. Oh gosh, yes or no? Yes, no. Yes. Let's just see what happens. I close my eyes and trust myself to Ella for a moment. She knows what to do. I feel her warm breath before her lips touch mine. Is this how it's supposed to feel? It's definitely not perfect. Magical kiss they described in stories. But stories are just stories. No real kiss measures up to them anyway. I still don't understand what's going on, but it doesn't feel wrong. When Ella ends the kiss, it turns out I wish it'd be longer. There's a moment of silent contemplation between us. I realized I barely did anything to contribute to the kiss. For Ella, it must have felt like kissing a dead body. Oh, what about the demon? Ella shakes her head as if to shush me. I'll help you get through this, and forget about all this weird stuff soon enough. What are you saying? Her stare is as cold as steel. Promise me you won't talk to it anymore. I think I knew it was coming, but the bold ultimatum still gives me a pause. She's really making me choose. Why does it have to be so dramatic? I know why. If I hadn't shown her the demon, this wouldn't have happened. This is my own fault. If I hadn't done what I did, I could have stayed close with both Ella and the demon. But now I know it's too late. She won't be happy unless I leave my time with the demon behind. Oh man, we have to have a choice? I kind of want to save. I want to save this part to see what endings I will get. Let's quick save this for a second. Let's say, alright, I trust you. I've never really given her a chance. She's always trying to help me out, but I keep rejecting her advice for years. Maybe I should have just listened to her from the start? I'm so glad. I still don't know how to feel. This is all happening too fast for me to understand, but at the same time it feels as if it's supposed to go like this way. I never believed in the saying love conquers all, but maybe if I gave it a chance, maybe if I'm finally strong enough, maybe I always had it in me. I just didn't know until now. Ella lets out a relieved laugh. Wow, after all these years, huh? Everything's going to change. I knew it would, but not like this. What's gonna happen now? It's been 3 years now. It's been 3 years and she still comes home every day wearing the same smile she always had. Likewise, I'm the same as I've always been. Is this really what she wanted? This quiet life for me? I have nothing to offer her, and I doubt I ever will. I'm not built for this. She'll grow tired of this someday. It's just a matter of time. I hope I'm mentally prepared for that day when it comes. Sometimes when Ella's staying at her parents', I get on my bike and head down to the lake like I used to, even though I know the demon is not there. They've left me. I understand why. I left them first. I didn't visit them for months after I moved in with Ella. They must have thought I left for good. Still, I keep hoping someday they'll return to this place. Gail nods at me every time I sneak off to go to the lake. I still can't be honest with Ella. All she's ever asked of me was to forget about the demon, but I'm not strong enough to do that even that much. I kept breaking my promise to her over and over again. I call for the demon, but they do not come. I've tried apologizing, I've tried sitting in silence as we often did. I've even cried. I tried everything. If there's any chance that they'll come see me again, I'll keep doing this, even when I'm old someday. I'll keep coming here as long as my aging body allows. I still haven't learned anything, have I? And 1? Alrighty. So we chose Ella instead of the demon. Well, we don't know if that's a demon or not. Let's be honest. It could be, a forest spirit. For all we know. Alright. I want to see what happens if we choose a demon. Maybe Ella might stick around? Who knows? Alright. No, I won't leave them. What? They become very important to me. I'm not going to abandon them now. Listen to yourself. Can't you see that you're being manipulated? Can you stop pretending that we know anything about them? You didn't even give them a chance. I can't. She opens and closes her mouth before sighing in frustration. This is just so crazy. I'm crazy, she means? Even after seeing the demon with her own eyes, she still thinks I'm crazy and useless and broken? I think I'm gonna go home. Good. I respond without thinking, but I don't regret it despite Ella's hurt expression. I want her to leave. She waits for a few seconds too long before getting into her car. I bet she wants me to beg her to stay. I won't give her the satisfaction. I'm never going to ask her for anything anymore. I already know I'm going to stay angry for a while, but I've got to calm down. I take deep breaths, trying to focus on comforting the comforting scent of the forest. It's over for tonight. I'll send Ella a text in the morning or something, or maybe I won't. Why should I? She was saying really weird things, and I don't even know what that kiss was about. I don't want to know. Why now? I don't want to think about what happened, but I do anyway. My mind replays the events over and over. First a kiss, and then she tells me to give up the one thing that makes me happy. How could she claim to care for me and then make a demand like that? I'm more hurt on the demon's behalf than for my own sake. Ella didn't even give them a chance. By the time I have the thought to go and apologize to the demon, my feet have already taken me halfway down the path through the forest. I arrive at the lake to find the demon there, just the way they were earlier. I walk up slowly, suddenly unsure of what I want to say. I give them a bashful glance, but it's difficult to look them in the eye. I end up speaking to the lake rather than directly to the demon. I'm sorry. The demon inhales, clearly exhausted. I am too. For a moment, we just exist in silence. Separately but together, the lake looks the same as ever. The night's events have left me wary, but at least I still have this. Is your relationship with the red-haired one mended? No, she said some things that hurt me a lot. I'm finding that I really don't want to talk about it. I didn't come here to lament the loss of a friendship that's been causing me more stress than joy for years. I'm sorry to hear that. It's not your fault. I think this would have happened sooner or later regardless. I'll grieve later. To be honest, I feel better. I was under the impression she was a beloved friend of yours. I thought so too, but it seems that was my biggest mistake. I think I'll be better off without her. The familiar lakeside and demon's presence have calmed down my nerves in mere minutes. I can breathe again. The pale gray lake ripples softly. Ella has no place here. I should have known she wouldn't understand. It's just the demon and I'm at peace with that. Suddenly something changes. The ground beneath my feet shifts just a little, and perhaps the entire forest does. The demon is moving. Oh. They stand up slowly, every ancient bone in their body snapping to their rightful place. One by one to make the motion possible. The terrifying sound echoes through the forest. Somehow the demon doesn't seem to be in pain. Their face looks the same as ever. They must have done this before. Repairing their broken body seems to be only a matter of will to them. But the little twigs and leaves that once rested on their stationary form has fallen off, and there are even feathers? The demon's cloak falls off their shoulders, revealing the torn remains of a pair of wings. Countless dark feathers flutter to the ground, twisted and lifeless. There's something viscerally familiar about the sight that makes me nearly tear up on the spot. I understand. I would say if I could bring myself to speak. Even while standing on 2 feet, the demon still appears hunched over. They look terribly old, weighing down by millennia of pain and indifference. I feel an overwhelming desire to take their hand and steady them like one would do for a frail grandmother, but I know I'm far too small to support them. It is time then. The voice is distant. I never realized just how softly they speak. Time for what? My departure. What? I feel as if I've swallowed an icicle. They're thinking of leaving? But this is your home, isn't it? It has been for some time. Do not feel sad. I will find another. Why now? The demon avoids eye contact with me. They speak once again in that calculated tone that leaves me feeling disconnected. When a human, a temporary being, desires to grow, it is only right that my kind make room for them. I will move for you, if that is what you desire. I didn't ask for this. They didn't have to do this to me. I never asked them for anything, but regardless, I've become a burden again. I never said I want to leave you. As if caught off guard by my broken voice, the demon looks at me for a brief moment. He can't seem to hold eye contact though, as they speak with a wavering tone. You lost something dear to you tonight. Whether you admit it or not, this occurred because of me. So what if I did? It was my fault too, and hers. Especially hers. My jaw clenches painfully. It's her fault the demon feels guilty. We will surely begin forging a new relationship soon enough. When you do, it is for the best that I am not in your way. I don't want to believe their words, but they seem convinced. You really believe this is the right thing to do. Humans' lives are short. They are better spent with their own kind, not with old relics such as I. Don't you agree? Is this really how it's supposed to go? It doesn't feel right, but the demon does have an infinite amount of experience in this subject. They were right to warn me about introducing Ella to them as well. I know nothing compared to them. The demon regards me with a soft gaze. Let us close this chapter. I'll honestly like for you to stay. The demon doesn't say anything. They don't even look at me. But their held breath doesn't go unnoticed by me. I know they heard me. I speak up with more confidence this time. If you want to leave for your own reasons, I won't stop you. But I want you to know I miss you terribly. I'd rather you stayed. My departure would make your life easier, would it not? It is difficult to exist in 2 worlds simultaneously. You've expressed this sentiment yourself before. Yes, but I just don't want an easy life. There are other things that are just as important. I just didn't know what to look for or what I even wanted. I think I found someone worth hanging on to in you. You become a part of my life, a part I really, really treasure. The demon gazes at the gray sky with empty eyes. Even nature itself is silent with tension. As if in slow motion, the demon collapses onto their knees. Before I know it, I've rushed to their side. You alright? They refuse to meet my eyes. This close, I can feel their cold, scentless breath all around me. The demon gathers their strength for a short moment before speaking in a sorrowful tone. I've been lying to you, human. I presented you with an indifferent facade, but the truth is, I am afraid. For centuries, I confined myself to the small corner of the planet where I thought pain would not find me. But I've come to realize yet again that there is no escape from it. Were I to leave now, my core will still ache each time you cross my mind. You left your mark. You will become another human in my memories whose life I made worse, another human I made suffer, another life I ruined. You haven't ruined anything, I trailed off as I realized the demon wasn't done speaking. And if I stay, someday far too soon, I will lose you regardless. I think I knew. Yours to be an undying entity on Earth surrounded by beings who can never stay with you for long. I knew, but still, I put them in the exact position they were trying to escape. I'm sorry. If I understand sooner, I wouldn't have pushed my company onto you. I'm sorry for that. The blame is entirely mine, human. Do you regret it, the time we shared? The demon shakes their head simply. No, every moment we shared has made my existence a less lonely one. If only for a short time, I can never regret any of this. If you don't regret it then, isn't it worth it? Perhaps for me, it is. However, your life is limited. By spending with me, you won't miss out on so much. I don't want to miss out on you. I know it. This isn't wrong. It never was. I thought it had to be wrong because that's what everyone says. But I've come to realize I was just scared, as I always am. I wish I'd seen the truth sooner. I don't know how long I'll live, but I want to make the most of it, and I think the best version of myself includes you. A mournful sound makes its way out of the demon's throat, but they cannot bring themselves to speak. My own voice shakes as well. I can't promise I'll live very long, but I can promise I'll try. I'll try my best, and I'll take damn care of myself so that we have as much time together as possible. The demon breaks into silent sobs. Air reverberates in the ribcage with every broken breath. I can only watch them as warm tears stream down my own face. There's no question, however. My heart still says this is worth it. I speak although my voice is thick with emotion. If I promise you that, will you stay with me? Rattling breath flows through the demon's lungs as they collect themselves. Yes, I will stay human. Call me Willow. Willow. You may call me Hayes. That was a nice ending. Somehow we formed a habit of watching the sun set together every night, regardless of season or weather. You think the routine would get old after a while, but it turns out every sunset is different from others. Every quiet conversation we share in those moments is likewise unique. A gentle gust of wind ruffles the demon's feathers, but they don't seem to mind. Maybe it's pleasant to be out of the forest every once in a while. It is for me. This one's nice, isn't it? I've seen better. That's not fair. Of course you have. Hayes looks down at me with a soft but melancholy look in their eyes. I regret you won't be able to see the full range of beauty this planet has to offer. You will enjoy those sights more than I will. I sense an immense sadness behind their voice, but I won't let them dwell on it on an evening like this. Haven't you heard? Beauty is subjective. If I say this is the most beautiful sunset ever in the history of Earth, you can't prove me wrong. Hayes almost chuckles. One day I'll get to hear what the laugh really sounds like. Perhaps this is the most beautiful one yet. It's an odd feeling, knowing Hayes might be here watching these same sunsets 1,000 years after my own existence has ended. All I can never fully comprehend what it's like to live for an eternity. I'm just human, after all. Hayes has never asked me to be anything more. I put extra effort into my smile. Hayes, when I'm gone, watch it rest with someone else, alright? Hayes doesn't respond. I'll miss you, their eyes say. I know, but this year, a feeling has been growing inside me. It's a confident and non-apologetic feeling. It's one thing I'm sure of, one thing that keeps me from succumbing to the hopelessness I used to center my life around. There are people out there who will love you, even if you don't. I don't know if Hayes believes me just yet, but as the sun begins to sink below the horizon, I'm certain they will. I'll make sure of it. I'm glad you asked me to stay. I can only smile. There's nothing else I need to hear. We still have more sunsets left than I can count. That was ending 3. So there's another ending too. I like that ending the best. I feel like she was way more happier with Hayes than with Ella. But that's just me saying it. And Hayes doesn't even seem like a demon. I'm sure they're like a forest spirit or something. That's what I think of them as. Alrighty. Thanks for the moments we've shared. Take care now, human. Oh, it's so sweet.